I need to get one from the district.
'Cause
Okay, so
we
we are
got-
recording, I believe. Yes, we're recording now. Shirley, I'm going to make you the host.
Right.
Make Shirley the host. Yay. I am
Darnell
going-
is here. Are you ready for?
We can start
Who's
letting
here?
people in. I'm down to clown. Let's do
All
it.
right, we got Shelley Phillips and Darnell Mack.
Yay. Let's let them in.
Bring
Let's
'em.
do it. Business. I'm going to shut off my video here. And we will get ready to party. I'm pretty excited to talk about glowing skin. And I actually had this moment where I was like, have we already done this? Have I already done this? Did I just pick something that we've already done? But I don't know. But
I like
I mean, we talked about bronzer. That's a different glow. This is, we're going to be a more highlighter focused situation tonight. So I'm pretty excited about it. Head to toe though, we're going to be talking about all sorts of, I actually had to change my tank top. I changed my top because I had a high necked thing on and I was like, well, I can't show fun glow things with this high neck. So I switched it up.
So are we talking
Hello?
skincare? I thought we
What
were
was that,
doing I thought we were doing skincare.
We are going to be doing a lot of skincare stuff, but I am going to show some makeup glow tips too.
Okay.
Glow, like the glow is something you can integrate into so many parts of the process. And I would hate to limit it to only skincare.
Multi-dimensional.
So how's everyone doing this weekend? We just finishing up a leadership call. So I'm so excited to see some awesome ladies on. Hello, Shelley. Hello, Darnell. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
And feel free to ask questions in the chat or just ask during these. Like, these are really conversational. And feel free to interrupt me or whatever else, because I'm fine with that too. But I want, and I've decided I like starting with your ideas. Like, when you guys were thinking about this live and like glow, what were some things that came to mind? Like, when I talk about like glowing skin, what are some things that come to mind for you all?
Healthy skin.
Well, go ahead.
No, that's all I was going to say is healthy skin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Well, in your 50s, I definitely want to look glowy, but not greasy because I still have oily skin.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay.
And that's a really valid point, because I think sometimes it's like we have to think it's one or the other. Like, the shine can really get out of control. It can be really easy, especially with a lot of products that are out there, to have that shine get really out of control. So I'm definitely going to address that. And that's one of the reasons too why I wanted to integrate makeup tips into this too, because a lot of times what we do on the makeup side can really help create that balance, so we can maintain that really beautiful glow without it being greasy, especially in those like more troubling areas. Anyone else? What do you think of when we start talking about glowing skin? I just had a basset hound join me in my office because they can open the door because it doesn't close all the way. So it's inevitable that the dogs will come join me on these. So I have guests.
That's good. I'm all for dogs. I have my puppies around here somewhere. So, yeah.
Luckily, they're generally pretty quiet at this hour. But if anyone's ever been on a Zoom with me, occasionally a hum of a snoring pug will enter into the conversation. So he's now under my chair. So that's where we're at. All right, let's get rocking and start talking about lots of fun glowing skin tips. And I really want to talk about different things, from techniques to products to specific ingredients. because there are so many things that contribute to glowing skin. And really, like Megan said, healthy skin. My focus in the way I teach is really about skin wellness and helping our skin function at its most, I guess, productive space. Because really, when I talk about that, it's like getting your cells to turn over, how they should be turning over, managing inflammation, and really building a solid, healthy barrier for our skin. And all of those things really contribute to that healthy glow that we get. Also, things like fighting hyperpigmentation. Hyperpigmentation in particular is one thing that can really diminish that glow, especially when we're trying to cover it up so much. Because I'm all about skin and letting our skin shine through as much as possible. I literally don't have anything on my skin right now, including a lot of the skincare I want to put on, because I wanted to like glow it up with y'all, and it's been killing me to not have all my fun stuff on. So let's start talking about skincare. And I wanted to jump in with one of my most favorite things that I do to get a glow, and they are things that actually stimulate our circulation in our skin. Healthy circulation in our skin is super important, because that's actually how our skin gets like nutrients and all the stuff that it needs, is through effective circulation. Our skin has like a very sophisticated system for like getting all of those nutrients to where they need to be, essentially, but we can absolutely help in that process. And one of my favorite things is facial massage. And I'm actually going to be doing some work personally to try and learn more advanced facial massage techniques that I can teach. And I would really love to do a whole session on facial massage for everyone for one of these Sunday night Zooms, because facial massage stimulates our skin in so many awesome ways, not just for getting a glow, but when you increase that circulation, you also, when you're doing those facial massage techniques, you are moving the lymph and all of those excess fluids and toxins and all sorts of things into the pathways to eliminate them from the skin, so it can be super depuffing. But an effective and regular facial massage routine can actually really help fight not just fine lines, but actually it targets those deeper lines that we get. And there is a very strong voice right now in the aesthetic community for encouraging and teaching facial massage as an alternative to Botox in particular, and those paralytic injections. So let's do a little facial massage. And Carol did win a really awesome roller on one of our giveaways on one of these calls. So Carol's gonna get some insight into how to use her awesome new roller. This is one of my favorite rollers. This one's actually amethyst. It sucks because the company doesn't sell them anymore. Facial rollers are really cool because you can get them at a super great price. They're not always constructed the same. So I always read reviews, but they're really easy to come by. You can get them on Amazon, but they're very, very effective. So first things first with a facial roller. One of the reasons I love it is it can actually be integrated regularly into a skincare routine, or it can be like a more like self-care, happy, fun times. And it really does enhance that glow in so many ways. But it's very important. I do have clean skin, and I just put a really light layer of moisturizer on my skin, but it was a little while ago and it was a super light layer. But when you are using a roller, I'm gonna do that. You absolutely do want to make sure that you are, you have enough slip on the skin. So when you are maybe doing more stuffs to your face, it's a really great time to utilize your facial roller. I personally really love using this with the midnight oil, because I typically use my facial roller at night, which is probably great to do during the day. Like when you get up, and if you feel more, I know there's some mornings I wake up and I'm like super puffy. I should actually probably be integrating rolling into my morning routine, but like I don't always have the time. So don't feel like this is just like a nighttime random thing. Facial rolling and using the stones can actually be super beneficial to start the day. So this is what I do. I grab my vial and I put more on than I would normally put on. And I get my drops all over the place. Make sure I have clean hands. And then I'm going to use the pads of my fingers and I am going to work that in around. So you all can play along if you want, but I am always all about having people really feel the structure of their face. So when I am doing when you're doing a facial massage in a facial room, there's the eye area is a separate area. You know, you have this area through here, and then the lower part of the face and the jawline. And I say that because different areas of the face have different pressure points. They can also handle a different amount of pressure. So I want to make sure that I get in, I use the pads of my fingers. Even if you don't have a roller, some of the motions that are great, we can pat in. This is a really phenomenal motion. And if you have ever done this to yourself or someone else, I could put someone to sleep just with this motion right here. And we can work our oil in. This area right here, who can make, these are my mom lines, my disapproving glance here that I give my children's, but really working this area too and getting that oil in. If I do want to use my facial roller or my stone, because this does come with a stone, think about working out and down. Our lymphatic pathways, we want to work all the bad stuffs out of our face. So we want those motions to be working outwards. So I love starting under here because it just feels good. Like this area here just feels so good. And I want you to watch my face as I do this. I'm going to do one side of my face. Can you already see the color change on my cheekbone as I do this? Now this is also quite cool just because my office is so flippin' cold, but the temperature will make a difference too. So I'm working along my cheekbone and I'm going to start working it down. And there is a decent amount of pressure on this part of my face as I do it. And as I go through here, I can really feel it in the muscles in my jaw. And then along my jaw, outwards. Now I'm going to work same thing, outward, outward, outward. And can you see how the circulation on this side of my face is kicked up a little bit? I can actually see the other side of my face responding too. But on my camera, I can see that the side I'm rolling actually is more red now. And it's not from reaction. It's from stimulation. How much pressure? How do I quantify that? I don't know how to quantify that. I can feel it, like it feels nice. I'm not like this is how I would use like a makeup brush, like la 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 la. Like I am rolling this on my skin as if I were really intentionally trying to work fluid from underneath the surface of my skin outward. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm really intentionally trying to work fluid that's underneath my skin outward. And when you have tension, I carry so much tension in my jaw. I'm a real teeth clencher. When I work it through here, I can feel that those muscles are getting an effective massage. So now I'm going to kind of flip. I'm sorry, my pug's barking. And I'm going to work through the center. And I'm going to work on those mommy frown lines. Work it up. And now, for anybody that has the iRise actually has a ceramic tip on it that is meant for massaging in the product, which I love, but this size is great. I use less pressure in this area here. Remember I said this area is different. We always want to use less pressure in here. And the reason we have that oil is because we don't want it to drag on the skin. We really want it to roll and glide. And I'm just working through here, but I'm sticking to that top side of the bone here. I'm not like pushing them at all. I'm really working on the skin. Oh, this feels, oh my gosh, my favorite spots. Right here, especially with this small one, once you get to this spot in the temple, again, when you're using the appropriate amount of pressure, you can really feel it working. And I can do this on both sides. I'm just showing you on one side. And then I flip, and then we work it downward.
Stephanie,
Outward.
your sound is gone hinky.
Am I gone for everybody?
You just sound a little robotic.
Well, that's crappy. I can try and switch. Hold on. Can you all hear me now?
Perfect, perfect.
I might have a slight echo.
You think?
It won't let me turn my sound off on my phone all the way. Crap. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, what about now? Crap.
All right, if you guys are not happy with echo, just raise your hand.
Okay, how is this? Am I a robot?
No.
Okay, well, let me know if I get weird. We'll figure it out. Okay. But it's super stimulating on the skin, and I mean, we're just figuring this out. That's why I love these Zooms, because this is real time. We're hanging out together. But these are really great, and it is a really phenomenal way. And again, like if I had more time in the morning or if I actually thought about it, rolling, and a lot of makeup artists actually really do a lot of facial rolling and facial massage before a makeup application. So don't just feel like this is like a bedtime or whatever. Like this is actually a very, very great tool to use, even really quickly before a makeup application, to really get that additional stimulation on the skin and really help with that flush and that flow. So that's one of those. And we'll talk about keeping these clean and everything when we do more facial massage oriented. But you can absolutely use your hands, and it's that same thing. So we can work outward with our fingertips, outward, and down. Around the eye area, this motion is great. And then one of my favorite tricks too is this motion that you can do. It's if you do it on someone else, you kind of grab like underneath the cheekbone and pull upward. But if you take your thumbs, everyone take your thummies. Let's see your thumbs. Shirley, show me those thumbs. Up underneath your face, your cheekbones right here. There's a spot. You'll feel it when you hit it, when you push. And you get a pressure release right kind of in here. And you can hit these pressure points and release these spots. And I will work my thumb outward. Oh, this is a good spot here too. And then pull outward to here.
Is it supposed to hurt?
You must go, if you have a lot of tension, it's gonna hurt, but you don't hurt yourself. And then work through here. But you can just really feel that pressure up under here. And you can really work a lot of tension out that way, but it's very stimulating on the cheeks and the skin.
Whoa.
That's one of my favorite skin glowing tips. I feel like I'm absolutely glowing more after doing that. And I can actually feel it in my skin. I can feel the enhanced circulation. And again, like when our skin has more enhanced circulation, it's actually going to be able to function at a higher level, and it's going to be able to utilize the ingredients in our skincare much better, and actually distribute nutrients that we're intaking in our body throughout our skin better. So I love it. And it is absolutely something I need to do more, but every time I do it, my skin just feels like flipping amazing. So check mark one thing. Next part, let's talk about after we cleanse, because y'all know that clean skin is like important in this process. And we've talked about cleansing, but then what? Okay. Like then what? First of all, if we are using hot water to cleanse, we are going to actually impact the glow of our skin, because hot water is more drying on the skin. And when our skin is dry, it gets dehydrated, because remember, dryness is the oil content and dehydration is the water content in our skin. So when we use hot water, and like I love a hot shower, like yay, hot shower, I want all of that. However, if we're getting our face all up in that business in the shower or in the sink, we're actually drying out our skin more, and it will then therefore become more dehydrated. So like lukish warm water, slightly warm water is much better than hot water for our skin. After we cleanse, we can actually finish with a cool water rinse. That will, again, that temperature change, I like actually doing that temperature change. It's going to constrict those blood vessels a little bit more. It's going, you know, some people actually do like an ice cube massage too for that cooling effect. But when you dry your skin, we want to pat it dry. We don't want to be like drying off our skin. Then what I do is after I pat, I do like to give myself a mist. This is one thing I've been begging Lime Life to integrate, is just a really simple rose water mist onto the skin to make sure I have enough of that moisture or that water content, I mean, on my face before I apply my skincare. Because damp skin is a great surface for applying your product. So then I'm gonna go in and apply my different skincare. For daytime, and especially for that awesome glow, I like to focus on ingredients that have awesome levels of vitamin C. Vitamin C is one of my favorite vitamins. Vitamins A, C, and E are kind of like the magic three when we're talking about skin and we're talking about that glow. Vitamin C actually stimulates collagen production. It's a super powerful antioxidant. And a mistake people make is when they're looking at things, they actually look for the ingredient like vitamin C. However, when you're talking about natural products, especially like the Lime Life products, like I would challenge you to find a product we have that is not an amazing source of vitamin C. A few of my superstar ingredients, marula, like in the Midnight Oil, marula is a really high content vitamin C product. Pomegranate is an amazing vitamin C ingredient. The Kaduku plum is, I think, the most potent form of vitamin C naturally that you can get in a skincare product. Rosehip seed. Rosehip seed is something that we use a ton. Rosehip seed is probably one of my most favorite skincare ingredients there is. And it's effective in like a 5% concentration. And rosehip seed is a really great source of vitamin C. Vitamin C, again, it's an antioxidant, so it's going to help protect our skin and keep oils from oxidizing. So again, when your oils do not oxidize, they are going to actually have that glow as opposed to getting stiff and clogging pores. Sorry. So vitamin C rich products are phenomenal, but vitamin C in much more intense forms and much more clinical forms can actually be a skin irritant for a lot of people. So there's a lot of ways to get really great amounts of vitamin C in skincare. I prefer vitamin C during the day because vitamin C should not be mixed with some other actives. Like if you're using clinical products with alpha hydroxys or retinols, I prefer to, those are nighttime ingredients, and vitamin C is a great daytime glow because it's also brightening. Glow doesn't always come from a sheen. Glow can come from nice, bright, again, healthy skin. And vitamin C is very, very brightening, and it helps our skin function at a very high level. And I love ingredients that are brightening. And we're going to talk about some other brightening stuffs. Humectants. Who wants a bonus point and can tell me what a humectant does in skincare? Or Skin School, Stephanie Classy, what's a humectant? I know Kelly. Kelly, what's a humectant?
Does it lock in or out moisture?
Well, those are two very different concepts.
Locks in. Never mind, I don't know.
So
Surely.
Humectant actually helps pull moisture into the skin. So as it absorbs, well, not moist, like, again, there's the two ways we talk about moisture when we think about like water stuff, but moisturization is like actually when we're talking about oils, but and a humectant in skincare actually helps pull more water into the skin. And water And that whole concept of like keeping water from evaporating out of our skin is what a lot of ingredients do. And that's what our skin barrier is. That's a major function of our skin, is like keeping the water in our body and keeping it from evaporating out of our body. Like that's a huge part of what our skincare does, is that alone. So humectants help pull water into the skin. And humectants are things like aloe. You'll know I can talk about aloe all day long. Aloe is a phenomenal humectant. Hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid holds 1,000 times its weight in water and comes in multiple molecular weights, which means like the size of the molecule and how far it can penetrate into the skin, basically. There's multiple versions of that. And that is a great humectant. Glycerin is another humectant. Glycerin is super, super common in skincare. It's probably not my favorite for sure. Actually, I can go on a rant about glycerin, but I won't do that because it has its place, but I think it's very overused and there's a lot better options. But that's another thing. Anything that we're using that has ingredients that just help keep that water content on the skin, because the more water we can keep here, it's going to make our skin look really awesomely plump and dewy and luminous and great. And it's going to make our skin feel great. And that water content in the skin is actually going to help fight inflammation. Dehydrated skin is very inflamed. And when we have dehydrated skin and it's inflamed, it's not going to look luminous and dewy. And that's a different type of glow. And I don't want to be on that train. So products, and that's why I love natural products, because natural products have phenomenal humectants in them. So that type of stuff, look for, because you'll see a lot of products, the number one ingredient will be water. But it's like, okay, but what's that going to do? Because it is just water. It's going to get on my face and it's going to evaporate away. Like that needs some business. It's going to do something with that water. So that's why I love ingredients that have the first ingredient as aloe. You all have heard me talk about that. I will go off on that stuff. So humectant rich stuff is great. And you know, I've also talked about applying your water rich ingredients, those humectant rich products, before we go into all the oils, because we want to get that on and seal it in with the oil. So that process and that order does make a difference. So cleanse and do all the things, and then get those humectant rich products on the skin before we follow with the oils. Temperature, I talked on this. Keeping your skincare cold. Keeping your skincare cooler actually prolongs the shelf life of it. They make these super adorable little skincare fridges you can get on Amazon, or you can keep it in the fridge. Raise your hand if you keep your skincare in the bathroom. So what types, like, think about the temperature fluctuations in your bathroom. Like when you take a steamy shower, I'm always cold and I love taking a steamy shower. That's not actually helping your skincare products at all. The bathroom is one of the worst places you can actually keep your skincare sometimes because of that alone. The temperature in the bathroom fluctuates quite a bit, and that can be very hard on our skincare and on its shelf life. But when we apply, so I actually keep a lot of my stuff in my office, but keeping them in the fridge or getting a little skincare fridge can be really helpful, because when we apply those products to the skin and they're a little bit cool, it can really add this really lovely glow as well, and it can help take down additional redness. And it's a really great tip when you apply cooler products to the skin. If you haven't kept your IRIs in the fridge, you're missing out. That will change your life, keeping your IRIs in the fridge with that cool ceramic applicator. That's the business.
I have to comment on this because I did that. There was only one major drawback. That's a long way for me to walk. It feels great.
Have you seen those little fridges you can get on Amazon? They make them all vintagey and cute. They're like this big, and they're actual skincare fridges.
Yeah, my husband would fill it with wine. Sorry.
Put a 6-pack in there at the most.
Your voice is gone. You're losing your voice again.
The wine wouldn't fit, Shirley. They're little. They're cute.
Oh, okay.
And you can make it pink and you can just keep it in your own little spot.
think my husband would be like, you already have enough room here. Do you really need to put a fridge in there? But if you can put a little wine along with your skincare, I think I might have to look into that.
Actually,
Mini
he
bottles, like
uses, he
little-
uses my products more than I do. So maybe I could get it done because he uses them so much.
I bet he would love that. I just think of that video you made. It was so cute. Was that Due Date or One Drop Wonder?
No, that was Due Date on his head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in heaven. That's the best.
Worth it. It's worth it.
Sorry for interrupting, Stephanie.
No, always interrupt. But that's true. Like I have a tiny little 50s ranch, so everything's very close in my house. I can see my whole house from like one spot. So, all right. So I want to talk about some of my other favorite ingredients. I'm not going to go into detail, and if I break the rule of not going into too much detail, you guys buzzer me because you all know how I can get. I have a problem, and I can go off on ingredients, and it's a problem. But niacinamide is one of my favorite skin brightening ingredients. It is phenomenal for people that have acne scarring. It's actually great for all skin types. It's a favorite of mine in our SPF primer. Niacinamide is a great ingredient. Apricot kernel oil is a superstar for me. Apricot kernel oil is actually a favorite ingredient of mine in like more natural exfoliants. It's actually in our skin polish. So I'm going to kind of have a tangent exfoliation conversation here. Properly exfoliated skin is really very important to have bright skin. That's the number one thing. If someone's skin's dull, I have the "Are you exfoliating" conversation. That's a really fast, easy way to boost a glow. And because we can always slap on things to make this artificial glow, but it's very different when we have a very healthy glow to the skin. Skin polish is everything to me. It's like the gateway drug to Lyme life. I will say that. But apricot kernel oil is in that, and it is super rich in vitamin A. And like I said, vitamin A is one of those 3 superstar vitamins. Vitamin A helps kick up our cell turnover. Retinols are a vitamin A, and all of those retinoids. But apricot kernel oil is not an irritant generally. It's very well tolerated. It's very softening as well. So it helps soften the skin, it helps brighten the skin and fight hyperpigmentation, and it kicks up our cell turnover. So if you are really looking for a very quick boost, obviously an exfoliation with something with apricot kernel oil, but you can actually put a dollop if you're in a hurry into your cleanser and cleanse with it and rinse it off. And that's a great way when you don't have time for a 10-minute mask. Pop a little bit of that into your cleanser and just cleanse with it, and it will give you this really great radiant boost. But one of the reasons I really encourage people to use that regularly is because integrating apricot kernel oil in on a consistent basis is really beneficial for the skin. Now, we actually have a product that has apricot kernel oil in it, and it's one of the most sold products Lyme Life has. And I think that most people don't know that it has apricot kernel oil because another ingredient is a superstar. And bonus points to anybody who can tell me what they think that is. We talk about it all the time. And it's got another ingredient that we talk about brightening the skin. But it also has
Botox?
Sotox?
yes, Sotox has
I said it
apricot oil.
first. I
You did
said
it.
it first.
I did say first. Shirley did say, but
We can be petty here. We're a little competitive.
hey,
Totally.
that's okay. We're all
Absolutely.
winners. We're all winners on the All-Star Beauty Sessions. But Sotox is such a phenomenal product. And we've talked about this, how to say it. It's like Sanji mushroom or Songi, but that's a phenomenal brightening ingredient. Mushrooms in skincare are awesome, and they're so brightening, and they're great for our cell turnover, but they're also great for the tone, texture, and brightness of our skin. But that apricot kernel oil in conjunction with that, and it has hyaluronic acid and peptides and lactic acid. It's like such a great product as far as something to integrate in brightening, but it also has this really lightweight texture that isn't heavy. So you can use other products in conjunction with it, which is one of my actual favorite things about it, is that there are a lot of serums out there that are great by themselves, but there's so much that it makes it hard to use anything with it. And it has the apricot kernel and all those other things, and it is such a great glow booster, if you will. So let's keep it moving. So there's a lot of really great essential oils that can be in products in small amounts that are great at boosting a glow too, because they are products, most essential oils actually fight bacteria. They're antibacterial, antiviral, and a lot of them fight inflammation, which is phenomenal because again, when I'm talking about glow, I really also want to manage and get inflammation down and get antioxidants up. So helichrysum, schizandra, and bergamot are three that I really absolutely love for those glow boosting, because helichrysum increases our cell turnover. And again, things that increase our cell turnover help naturally exfoliate, which is great. Schizandra manages like uneven skin tone. That's going to make the skin super dull. And bergamot is actually a really great anti-inflammatory and hyperpigmentation fighter. So that's one of the reasons why Due Date is one of my most favorite products, because it has rose, sunflower seed, which is like the best glow booster thing ever, schizandra, helichrysum, lavender, all sorts of great things. And then our men's products are actually bergamot rich. So those are really great as well, and they're all antioxidant rich. So that's kind of my skincare chat before we go into a few of the makeup things, because I am going to be playing with Due Date with some of the makeup stuff. But does anyone have any questions on some of the glow boosting tips I talked about with our skincare? Or just skincare generally? Because, you know, I could be all over the place. Any questions? All right. So let's get into the makeup portion of this evening, because our skin can look awesome and glowy and dewy. I think I'm doing a pretty good job right now with my glow. However, and then we just cover up with makeup, we just undid all of that awesomeness that we did with our skincare, and that's like a bummer, and we don't want to do that. So that's one of the reasons why I love oils, is because I always finish skincare with the oils. Again, we do the water-based stuff, the humectants, and then we work to the more oil-based things. But those oils can really help us keep that awesome glow with our makeup as well. And there is a whole range of different foundations out there and different things that have different finishes. But no matter what the finish on your foundation is, we integrate those oils and it really helps with that glow and that boost. I absolutely love layering products in little amounts, whether I'm doing a makeup application on somebody else or on myself. A technique that I use is more light layers and more like little bits at a time, because one thing that can really make our skin look heavy is when we use so much and we try and blend it out, versus just being very strategic with our coverage and doing light layers at a time. One of my favorite anti-aging tips to do is to just take a drop of One Drop Wonder into my foundation and use that to sheer it out and then apply it. And then I have a really nice light layer of coverage, but it has that glow booster in it and anti-aging like fighters in there. And I'm actually going to grab my foundation and we actually, we'll do a few different things because I don't have any makeup on my skin, but we'll just play in some things here. I got my bag, it's mini brushes. And let's have a glow party now. So raise your hand if you got on this party train. Shelly, have you gotten yours yet? Your perfect glow drops?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did. Yes.
They are
Yeah.
the bee's knees.
Yeah, I've been playing with those. Yeah.
I love how those dry down, but what I'll say about them is I've been using them in my kit as well. something like this is great because it can be used underneath. It can be used with your skincare, mixed in your foundation. But really, when I'm talking about a glow, like I like thinking in the world of textures. So I start thinking about different textures. Like what's the texture of an oil versus the texture of an illuminator versus the texture of a powder highlighter versus the texture of a cream blush, and being intentional with how I'm layering my products and how I am getting that glow. Because like it can get out of hand real fast. And like Shelly was saying at the beginning, like we want this healthy skin, but it can go to like oily and heavy very quickly. So let's talk about face structure. And when you want to get the best glow possible, we are intentional with utilizing our face structure for those key highlight points. So raise your hand if you know some of those key highlight points on the face that we want to emphasize with the glow.
Cheekbones.
This is the moneymaker through here, y'all. This one for sure, but not just the cheekbone. Rihanna's special highlight secret is actually like this through here, and her makeup artist actually does the highlight in a C motion through here. Some other spots that are great are the Cupid's bow right here, the inner corner of the eye. If you can see, I actually just have like a shimmer liner on in the inner corner of the eye, the arch of the brow. Some people like to hit the tip of the nose. I look like a dork when I do that because the tip of my nose is something special. And you want to be careful about some of those other areas that get shiny, like this business here is the bane of my existence. And then we can get a little too shiny through here sometimes, because have you guys seen me make these lines here magically disappear through my mattifying technique? If we're too shiny in this area, it will actually make, this is called our nasal labial folds. It will actually make them look deeper. So we do want the glow in the areas we want, but be careful to not get too shiny in other areas where maybe we don't want it. So that's why when we are using something like an illuminator drop, we can use it all over. And I'm gonna do my whole face, or half my face, I mean. I'm gonna do some other techniques on the other side. I'm gonna use the champagne one a little bit. And I want you to see the difference in what it does to some of the spots on my face when we just like illuminate the whole thing just because we want to. See how that line just got deeper there? Can you all see that? Or I mean, I can see it in mine.
Yeah.
Now, I love an all over glow, but if we're just like glowing up our face haphazardly, we're going to put glow in the spots we like it. But look what I just did right there. It actually is going to make certain areas look more like lines look deeper. So that's why we want to be smart with how we glow it up. If we do an all over look like that, I'm going to put a little coverage on. When we put coverage over the top, I just put a little one drop under on there. I still haven't changed my foundation color, just so you guys know. Last week we were foundation matching me. We can see how it does change a little bit. And it still has this really, we can still see that glow through here. I just got a really light layer of coverage over the top. And it is this awesome glow, but I do want to be careful to not like accentuate areas and make those lines look deeper. So that's why having powder on hand and being very strategic with how we powder is going to be important, because again, you can reverse. You can over illuminate and highlight areas you don't want to highlight, but you could also over powder and kind of cover up those highlighted areas. So that's why I'm always wanting you guys to pay attention to those key areas of the face. What areas do we want to highlight? And then what areas do we want to maybe matte down or have more of a natural skin finish? And it's kind of about being thoughtful about it. It's really important. Now I'm gonna do the other side of my face without the illuminator and just a little bit of One Drop Wonder in the product. So we can just see the difference. And when you put a little oil in your foundation, oh my gosh, it gives it the best slip and this great glow. So I have a great glow going on both sides, but can you tell the difference? Like this one has a nice glow and this one, it definitely has like, in my opinion, like a luminosity that's extra from that, those glow drops. Okay, so now what do we do about this business? Again, we're thinking about textures and face structure. If I went with just my clear powder and powdered all over, I'm going to take away the good with the bad. So those areas where we definitely want to powder, this center of the face here. I don't want like super glow through here. Chin. Now I want you guys to see this. This is one of my tricks when I'm on set, especially. I will take a smaller brush sometimes, but that's why I love this. This little guy, this is the number 19 brush. It's a favorite. I love taking powder right down the sides of the nose. And this is how you can actually do a colorless nose contour. And you can, I'll pay you $5 if you've ever had anyone teach you about a colorless nose contour. This is contouring the nose purely with texture and finish as opposed to actual color. And we are using our glow and our textures to contour the nose, where we just take the powder down the sides to matte it out a little bit and keep the glow on the top. Now this area here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be doing a colorless contour where I got a little excited with my glow drops. I'm going to take this right through here. And do you see how I fixed that effect? See how it was so much more exaggerated through there? And I just powdered it with my colorless powder right through here. And you don't have that exaggeration in that fold of the skin anymore. So I love doing a colorless contour when I want a great glow because I'm being very strategic with where I want to take away that glow. And I'm leaving that glow everywhere else. And it really is this focus, forehead, down the nose, through these folds here, not here, I want to glow here. And chin is where I'm starting. And did you all see that difference when I did that? How it just took away that extra reflection in those spots. Because I want to keep this, and I want to keep this, and all of the fun stuff through here, but I just wanted to control that through these sections, right through the center of the face. Does anyone have any questions on my colorless contouring technique? But it's a really great trick on the nose too. When you just want to control that shine and that sheen and really help shape the nose purely with texture. Anyone? And you can mix all sorts of skincare in your foundation products to get that glow. And where are they?
So today I put, when I did my foundation, I put just a tiny drop of the bronzing lotion because it's in the Amaze box. Just to show another way. And it went on so smooth and so beautiful.
Yeah, those, and I have, yeah, they're right here. Those bronzing lotions are great. They have a little more shimmer, but that's what I was doing before we got the glow drops, was using those. So get creative with mixing in textures. One thing that I like to do with a sponge, whether it be a blending sponge or regular sponge, is I actually love putting a pump of moisturizer on my sponge. Oh, it's a brand new Skin Therapy. I was like working my bottle until like yesterday and I opened a new bottle. It's like, why didn't I do this sooner? And I work my moisturizer into my sponge as opposed to just an oil sometimes. And I really love doing a foundation application with a with Skin Therapy in my sponge actually. And if you feel like you got too heavy handed with your powder or foundation, instead of an oil, I really love using a moisturizer and just pressing it through here to kind of reactivate that luminous glow from underneath. It's a really great texture in a sponge. I love using it on the flat end and pressing it on that cheekbone and maybe those areas where I want to enhance that glow. And if I want to keep myself from being too heavy-handed, having a nice moisturizer in that sponge is a great way to do it too. And doing an application with that moisturizer in there is great. That's actually a technique that when camera technology switched from standard to HD, I actually got into the world of video production right around that time when HD was a thing. So I learned makeup for production at a really important time. And that is, and I actually had the opportunity to learn from a makeup artist who is really one of the pioneers in HD makeup technology. And that is one of the tricks that she taught me, was having a humectant rich moisturizer. And I really believe Skin Therapy is like the perfect weight because it's a mid-weight moisturizer and it's not too heavy. And it's really, if you pump it into a sponge, you'll see it's just got this great weight, and it's a really beautiful way to get good coverage while maintaining an appropriate glow that's not crazy. But it's a really great way to kind of finish, press in, and get that lovely luminous glow. Now, we're gonna go and I'm gonna show you one of my concealer tricks too, because you know how we did that colorless contour through here? There's some really great concealer techniques utilizing.
Hey, Stephanie.
Yeah.
10-minute warning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I am actually getting down on my list. I'm proud of me for my time management. This is how I can get. But to the same accord, when we're talking about textures, and again, number one thing, we want that glow, being intentional with our textures. These glow drops are really phenomenal to mix into a concealer. There's a lot of very expensive concealer products that I have had in my kit. This rosé color is very, very similar to some of these insanely expensive luxury concealer products. And if you get a little concealer on your brush and mix a little bit with that rosé.
What concealer number? 0?
3. I don't do
3?
concealer number 0. I don't play that
Okay,
game.
I don't either. My mind is blown right now.
I don't like highlighting with shade singularly. I'm not all about being like, I want to highlight and use white on my face. Like, that's just not how I do it. It works for some people. I really love having a good match and utilizing beautiful textures and actually healthy skin. So I took a little bit of concealer number 3, which is perfect for me, especially under the eye. And I put a dab and I put the rosé colored glow drop on my hand, and I mixed them together on my hand, and I pressed right here under my eye. And I created the most gorgeous luminous concealer under the eye area, and it is super brightening. And it's very little product, and I don't know, can you see a difference? I think it looks great in my world right now. And it's just a phenomenal little trick to making sure, and these have oh my gosh, these glow drops have a really beautiful texture that is incredibly unique. It's not greasy, it doesn't separate, it just, and these are very humectant rich as well. And I love it under the eye and in this area, specifically working with this area. Anybody that has, we can get discoloration under our eyes caused by a lot of things. One thing are the shadows that get created based on an indentation under the eye. So if someone is the same effect here, like if I wanted to pull this forward, you know, I would want to highlight it more. But right here, like if someone has especially more puffiness through here and then a very exaggerated indentation, utilizing a little luminosity where that indentation is going to help pull it forward. It's going to be very brightening, and it's going to open up that area really nicely. And that is a really great trick, is that something like an illuminator can be used underneath, but they are really fantastic to mix into other products to get that appropriate texture and just to really get a beautiful glow. Now, I'm all about the glow on the cheek with color. So again, we're thinking about textures. A couple of my favorites, a lip product that can be, or these are lip and cheek, but a cheek product like a cream blush. These are great because again, these have a texture that are going to catch the light. They have this creaminess to them where I can layer this texture. So yes, I'm adding color, but the texture to it, that balm finish, is going to catch the light to be a highlighter, and it's going to be a really beautiful, sophisticated, intentional glow on the cheek. A different texture that adds glow is something like a blush with a sheen. See how this has that really beautiful sheen to it? I'm going to do this on the other side. Small brush. I love small brushes for the cheek. When I'm highlighting on the cheek in particular, I'm very specific to make a brush choice with a smaller brush because again, I don't want just a banana shine all over. Like having a pretty glow isn't just using something and putting it all over. It's being, again, intentional with our placement. So when I use a smaller brush for application, I can get that. So that's why I love small brushes. And a blush with a sheen is really going to help catch the light because again, I have this really gorgeous glow and I apply a matte bronzer over the top. I'm adding color, but that matte texture is going to matte down that sheen. So I could do like the most beautiful job on my skincare and my oils and all these other things. But if I go over the top of it with a matte blush, that's essentially just using a matte powder with color over the top. So again, intentional with something that has a sheen. These are great because I love the gold to it. And see how that catches the light. Oh, it's so pretty. I feel so glowy and I just have to wash my face. But this is with the cream blush and those creamier textures or that balmy lip and cheek balm, which I love. And then this is with a powder that has a sheen, being intentional with those textures. Now, a favorite little trick of mine as we're running out of time. This eyeshadow palette I love, but I love that we can get these individually. Sweet Dreams, this eyeshadow, and if you see my little TikToks and my videos, this is one of my most favorite highlighters. Blush number 6 is a beautiful highlighter. It's very soft, it's very subtle. The lid for it, I borderline wish we had this duo available all the time, but I love, again, deciding how's my sheen going, but we still do have to set stuff a little bit. So I can go through with something that is powder that can set it just a little bit, that still has that shine. This is blush number 6. But if I want to be like extra, which I usually do, I'm going to go in with this eyeshadow is my favorite highlighter. And if you have an AmazeBox or have been on the AmazeBox list, you probably have it because it's been in there before with a small brush. And I love finishing my look. And this, look at this. Do you see who I just became right now with this highlighter? It just, see how that is much more subtle and this is a luminous glow. This is a highlight, or that's how I phrase it. And then I will go through with a small brush, mini by Nikki, and I will take this highlighter and I will hit all of my key points with this to finish. It's one of my favorite tricks to finish a look. Under the brow, inner corner of the eye, top of the cheek like I did. If I had a cute nose or the end of my nose, I would do this, but just makes it look bigger on the end. And then hit any key spots I want to highlight with this powder. And that is how we get the glow from our skincare to our makeup. Again, it's like I say, it's about being thoughtful and intentional and really thinking about the two things that I really, really reinforce with the way I teach is our face structure, because all of our faces are different. So paying attention to where your cheekbone is, where your brow bone is, all of those other things are important. And then just making intentional choices with your tools and the textures of your product. So we have all these awesome things that can give us the glow, from our skincare to our oils, to our moisturizers, to our luminizers, and those really awesome powder products that can complement whether we want something more high shine or we choose a powder product to do that colorless contour to take it away. And obviously, like last, I like doing a final powder in any of those areas to really control where I maybe got a little excited with my glow. But I think I'm pretty glowy. I think I got a glow happening. And then same for body. We didn't get to play in the body stuff as much. AmazeBox people, you got a really great glow product, but these can be used head to toe. And it's the same thing. Focus on the structure of your body. Where are those points that you want to hit? The collarbone here is one of my absolute favorites, just to really quickly hit. Love these for the legs, but play with these all over, and it's the same thing. You could use it for a pretty highlight anywhere on the face too. But again, texture sheen, because these have more of a shimmer. And it's 8:30 exactly. Yay! So who has questions for me? Any thoughts? How glowy are we going to be moving forward in our lives? Hopefully very.
All the glow.
Oh, very
Look at-
glowy.
I wasn't even
I'm
gonna
do
do
that
it all, but-
concealer tomorrow.
Yeah, Shelly, let me know how that goes with the concealer. And it just adds little bits of that luminous, that luminizer in at a time. And the rosé is absolutely my favorite for that. And you could try
Okay.
patting it in just a little bit before and doing concealer over the top or mixing it together. Again, that's why I love playing. And these little blending sponges can be really great for that too. So again, it's kind of playing and seeing what works for you, but I love that mixing with the concealer too.
Yeah, sometimes I take a little brush, but it's a little bit fluffy, and I put some of the time setter on it, a little spray, and then go over my concealer with that.
And that will absolutely help
So-
set it too. And those setting sprays are all nice and hydrating also, so they're very appropriate for under the eye. And that's a great tip and technique.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I love it. How do you
So
add?
Donnell's asking how I add the Wonder to the foundation. So it depends what tool you are using and what you feel most comfortable with. For my personal stuff, sometimes I will literally just take a little drop of One Drop Wonder and drop like a half drop right in my foundation, and then go in with my brush from there. You can also apply it and then or put the One Drop Wonder on your face, buff it with your brush, and then there will be residual on your brush, and then you can actually go into your foundation and work it that way. When I'm doing makeup on somebody else, I have my stainless steel palette, and what I do as a technique is I put the skincare on the palette. After I've applied with my hands, I'll get it on the brush or my sponge, work it, and then I will go into the foundation with it from there. So there's a lot of ways to do it. It's just what works for you and how you want to manage and maintain your foundation products. But there's a lot of ways. There's no like wrong way, I don't think. I'm sure there is, but you know. Anyone else have any questions, thoughts?
This was awesome.
No, that's great.
So play in your stuff. Let me know what you think. I love this because, like I always say, skincare and makeup is so subjective. And that's why I love that you all can have awesome beauty guides that you can reach out to figure out exactly like what is best for you and what works for you. But I hope you all had a great time this evening. I want you all to mark your calendars because later this month we are getting details on holiday, and there is some bananas stuff that I'm so excited about. I think people are gonna have to fight over a very special eyeliner set that is coming out that is gonna be like the best. So keep an eye out for holiday. And I love you all coming to this, like Sunday nights at this time. We have different topics. Absolutely let us know your ideas and what you want to learn about. Because I want to teach and we want to teach what you guys want to know. So we're going to get some great things on the calendar. We have some of our awesome beauty guides. We're going to get it on the calendar in a couple of weeks, specifically for beauty tips and tricks for women over 50. I'm super excited about that. We're going to have brows coming up, some other really great stuff. So keep your eye out for all those things that we're going to be teaching and sharing and holiday especially. And yeah, reach out to your beauty guide with any questions you have. And thanks for hanging out. Have a great night.
Perfect. Thank you. Can't wait for holiday. All right. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.